Today, Coinbase gears up for a years-long court battle with the SEC. Bittrex responds to the regulators' claim it ran an unregistered securities exchange. And as the dust settles from the Shanghai upgrade, we speak with one of the creators of Nansen's Shanghai dashboard to find out whether ETH withdrawals are spiking. Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Digital currencies are back in the green this morning, with Bitcoin jumping back above $30,000, Ether reaching the $2,100 level, and Solana rising to nearly $25, all by noon Eastern. Let's talk about the top stories. First up, Coinbase's CEO Brian Armstrong says the crypto exchange is headed for a court battle with the SEC. In an interview with CNBC at a fintech conference, Armstrong said the company was absolutely prepared for the battle to be years long and that it would be necessary to get the legal precedent for crypto regulation. This comes after the SEC last month issued a Wells notice to Coinbase, which is usually one of the last steps before the agency files charges.
Even over the last year, we had 30 meetings. Never got a single piece of feedback from them about what we could be doing better or differently. And then this Wells notice arrived. It's an abdication of responsibility. I mean, the regulator's job is to publish a clear rule book and allow that market to be safe, but also to flourish in that country.
At that same conference, Armstrong also cautioned that the U.S. has potential to be an important market for crypto, but without regulatory clarity, Coinbase is looking for other markets to invest in and could consider relocating. Next, Bittrex is responding to the SEC's charges against the crypto exchange, arguing that the move is, quote, part of Chairman Gensler's larger crusade to drive cryptocurrency out of the United States. Yesterday, the SEC charged Bittrex and its former CEO William Shahara with allegedly operating an unregistered national securities exchange, broker, and clearing agency. The SEC also charged the firm's foreign affiliate for failing to register as a national securities exchange in connection with its operation of a single shared order book along with Bittrex. The agency alleged in its complaint that Shahara coordinated with issuers who wanted to have their crypto asset available for trading on the platform to delete public statements that he believed would lead regulators to investigate token offerings as securities. We reached out to Shahara for comment, but didn't hear back right away. In a statement sent to us, a Bittrex spokesperson said that securities were not offered or traded on Bittrex, nor did Bittrex offer any products that were investment contracts, adding that the firm operated within the parameters of the law at all times. The spokesperson went on to say that on multiple occasions, Bittrex asked the SEC to indicate what digital assets on the platform were viewed as securities so that the firm could review and potentially delist them, but the agency, quote, refused to do so. Finally, some of FTX's biggest celebrity backers, like Tom Brady and Larry David, say the investor lawsuit against them should be dismissed. According to a report from Reuters, they argued that they never pitched the accounts at issue and weren't at fault for investor losses. In fact, they called it nonsense that actors in any brokerage ad could be liable for losses from any security later purchased by an individual user. The latest response from those celebrities came just after lawyers for the investors announced they were able to finally serve Shaquille O'Neal in the lawsuit on Sunday. Back in December, Shaq tried to distance himself from the suit when he told CNBC that he was just a paid spokesperson. All right, let's talk about Ethereum for our main story. It's been almost a week since the network's latest upgrade, and to track all the ETH moving around the network, blockchain analytics platform Nansen launched its Shanghai dashboard. Crypto World's Talia Kaplan spoke with Nansen analyst Niklas Polk to break down the data.
Ethereum's Shanghai upgrade enabled withdrawals of staked Ether for the first time. Now, you were integral in creating Nansen's public dashboard, which tracked the update in real time. What stood out to you? What did you notice immediately happened in the days after that staked Ether became unlocked?
So one thing that really struck me is that everything kind of went smoothly. Like the block was announced beforehand, and like you could really see immediately the withdrawals rolling in, and people actually getting access to their ETH that has been locked for some people for years, actually. So there was like a really big uptick in that. And then you could also see that at first there were a lot of partial withdrawals. So what that means is that people would have to lock 32 Ether in the deposit contract, and then it would accrue rewards, but they couldn't withdraw any of it. So the principal, the 32 Ether, and all their rewards were kind of stuck there. And they did not earn any additional rewards for their already earned rewards, so it would not compound. So all these gains that they had in that time were basically idle. So many people were eager to basically do the partial withdrawal of the accrued rewards and also restake them, and that is also what we saw.
As of last week, more than $35 billion of Ether, which was frozen in the long-term staking program, could have been withdrawn, and yet holders of only $1.67 billion worth of Ether initially requested to withdraw their crypto. That's according to data from Nansen. What does that show you?
That does show me that actually people are still quite confident in Ether as an asset and in the chain and the future of the chain. And also a lot of those people that did withdraw, a lot of this were initial, as I already said, the partial withdrawals, and a lot of these were from actual providers. For example, liquid staking providers like Lido, which are heavily incentivized to restake their rewards to keep sort of their yield competitive. So this is one thing, but I do think that not all is over, since the full withdrawals, the withdrawal of the principal, there are several queues and mechanisms in place that it will not get available immediately. So there is still, I think, like around 900,000 ETH waiting for the full withdrawal, which just hasn't gotten through all this exit queue and all these processes yet.
So dashboard data today shows staked ETH deposits are now outpacing withdrawals. As of 11 this morning, there were about 21,700 ETH withdrawals in the past 24 hours, while deposits reached about 84,500. What does that signify?
So I think a lot of the new deposits that came in, like, of course, some of it was because now you can actually withdraw. So people are a lot more confident in staking their Ether, since they are sure that they can get it back on relatively short notice. And on the other hand, a lot of these were people that were basically restaking their rewards, which have been idle all the time. So they are trying to basically up their yield and restaking the withdrawals and compounding all of it. But I think in the coming days, it might be that there will be another wave where this balance will become net negative, as a lot of these full withdrawals, also of the principal, will become processed, I think, in the next around 20 days, 18 to 20 days.
Okay, so let's talk prices. Ether has been trading higher since the Shanghai and Capella updates were completed last week, with Ether trading around $2,000, its highest level since August. What do you think this signifies?
I think on the one hand, obviously it's called upgrade for a reason, because it is inherently good for the ecosystem and for Ether. So I think it is good news that this happened, especially in the long term. As I said, in the next 18 to 20 days, there might be like some fluctuations, and a lot of people get their principal back. But I think in the long term, it is definitely really good. As for the recent price movement, I think some of it was for sure due to Shanghai, but coincidentally, I think a lot of other assets like Bitcoin also reached new heights. So I'm not sure if all of it was really contributed to Shanghai, but I think it's definitely a good thing that this happened.
So it seems like Ethereum is always in development. Following the merge in September, which of course was key in the transition to proof of stake, developers started focusing on the next big update, Shanghai. Now that the Shanghai upgrade is complete and the blockchain transitioned to a full functioning proof of stake network, what's next? What are people paying attention to now? I mean, last week, Vitalik Buterin, Ethereum's co-founder, said scaling, so the process of making transactions faster and cheaper, should be prioritized. And in November, he released an updated roadmap of issues that need to be tackled, including what's known as the Verge, Purge, and Scourge. What do you think is top of mind?
So I think now, as we have the Shanghai upgrade and the successful switch to proof of stake, I think indeed Ethereum will probably strive to make transactions cheaper, as you said, but I think primarily also, as Vitalik hinted at, primarily not on the main chain, but for everything built on top of it. So especially for layer 2s like optimistic rollups and ZK rollups, which also had like big stuff coming up. I think a lot of these things, these improvements to Ethereum, will especially have layer 2s in mind, as these are probably like the real scaling solution to Ethereum. So For example, one upgrade that Vitalik mentioned is proto-dank sharding, or which will come later as an upgrade to pro-dank sharding, which will basically allow rollups on top of Ethereum to become way, way cheaper.
Okay, that's all for Crypto World today, but we'll be back again tomorrow, so we'll see you then.